All right, what's up, folks? I'm doing a trade recap of this past Friday, July 28th, 2023. To give you a little background, I'm starting with a small account to the goal to build this thing up, obviously. I think I started with about 150 bucks, and I think I'm somewhere around 190. And with the idea is I don't want to start with a big account. I really want to remove the pressure and focus on, the ability to be able to hold on to these trades, and to kind of take the emotion out of it for now and really just get the automatic ability to enter trades that make sense, right? Instead of hesitating and watching the trades that you hesitated on, even though they really fit your criteria, and then you watch them go against you, or you watch them go your way, and you get FOMO and then just feel like you have to trade. So that's something that I'm working on and slowly getting better at. And the other thing is just getting time in the game, and really I'm starting to get a real strategy down, which I really lacked before, and kind of had, this audacious attitude, that I could just go in there without a real strategy, to just that I'll play off candles. And if I see things topping, you'll get in. But in doing some things with levels, but I really just feel like I'm starting to see the big picture here, and something that I can kind of have some ground rules around and do repeatedly. And I'll try and go into that a little bit. Might interest you, might bore you, whatever. Let's get into it. So Friday, I took a couple trades. One was on the Qs and the other one was on the SPY, and those are common indexes that I'm sure most of you are familiar with, right? The Qs are the NASDAQ, the SPY is the S&P 500 index, or ETF fund, really. So I'll show you my little monitor here. So you can see on the 28th, right, Friday, my first play was the Qs. Both these were put plays, by the way. And they were really scalpers. I'm not real proud of these trades. I just want to start documenting this and start communicating these trades I'm getting in. So this first one, both these were really scalpers. This first one with the Qs is buying in at 66 cents, getting out at 77 cents. So that's 11 cents. For me to get in and out, it's $1 per contract. So I'm just doing one contract right now because I have a real small account. And hopefully I can build this up to where I'm doing, 2 contracts and keep moving that up over time. So this was still a solid trade. 11 cents. So basically, 10 cents, so 10 bucks. On this small account, that's like 6.5%. So I know it looks small, but this is a good, safe way to start. Because I've started large accounts and just lost the money, and I'm just not going to do that anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. This is the way to go. Got to be patient. You can't get that idea out of my head that I want to make big money right away and get all emotional. So anyhow, onto this first trade with the Qs. So I got in at 1041, got out at about 1047. And by the way, my charts, I've got a 10-minute chart here and a 5-minute chart. This is an hourly chart. This is a daily. And this is where I'll pull up the option, right where my face is here. I've got a window there where I'll pull up the option contract that I want to get into. So I've really just honed in on, I know a lot of people do different time frames, and you really obviously have to kind of pick what you like and what makes sense for you. And right now I'm really it's been tough because I've gone back and forth between having these big time frames and a smaller one, like a 1 minute or a 2 minute. And so I was doing the 2 minute for a while, but I realized it is just too much. I really finally pulled the trigger and said, I'm taking the damn 2 minute off of my chart. And I really like how it's going. It simplifies things. It's just it's just too much when you've got, when you're looking at 3 time frames and, you need to be pulling a trigger. For me right now, it's just too much. So I'm loving the 5 and the 10, and you get, with that longer time for the candles to develop, You know, I feel like you get firmer commitment if you're seeing something that there's more likeliness that it's going to go that way, right? Over time, instead of some short, you know, getting faked out basically with a bunch of short candles. So anyhow, so 10-minute, 5-minute. Huge fans of these time ranges. The other thing I want to preface is there's a shitload of lines in this chart right now. You know, this is the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA. Then the next thing up is the orb, the opening range breakout lines. So the green one here, this dashed big green one, that's the high. That's basically the high of the first 30 minutes. The red one is the low of the first 30 minutes. And I am absolutely in love with looking at the orb. For me, it's a total game changer. And I'm just so happy that I found out about these. I was not using them long ago, and to me, it's just incredible. And so what you'll see after the main, like here's the main 30-minute high. These are actually fib extensions. So it's the first and second fibs that calculate off of this high. And then down here, there's also those for the lower range. So that's what those are. Then these yellow, then, you know, oftentimes, I don't know if I have them on here. I think I got rid of them, but I'll draw on like daily support, big daily support that I find. I don't have them on here now, but I'll typically do that. These other yellow lines where you can see they have the percentages, that's a Fibonacci. I'll play around with those. Those are also incredible. Right now you can see on the daily, right here, I drew one from this top down to this bottom right, and see how we've turned up. So I put that here to see if we could retrace. And these are super powerful. You can see that we retraced here to the 61.8 and, you know, fiddled around and ultimately broke that. And then we came up to the next one, the 70.7, and look where we turned around, a great turnaround. So that there were just, this one I actually missed because I was doing something else, and I felt this was this is where trading gets very annoying. Is, you know, I saw this run up, and you know, I knew I love to, for the run ups, I like to wait for this second fib. If it goes past here, there's a lot of the time it turns around and will give you some sort of rejection at these second fibs, and you can see how that pretty much lined up with also with this. And I'm talking about the orb fib right here. This. You can see how it also is in the same area as this big daily fib, that 70.7. So this was just such an easy, you know, rejects here, comes up, rejects again, get in this thing and try and write it down to about here if you can. Or, you know, if you get in the profit, you know, take my strategy right now is, you know, if I even get 10 cents, there's potential I might take it at this point just to build this account up and get wins. But ideally, I want to be able to start holding, especially since this is smaller size, I want to be able to start holding these things for this one, my first target would be this area where these two, the orb high and that fib is. So that would have been a great trade, but I missed that one. So anyways, this was really not a great trade. I knew I wanted to scalp it. It only makes sense to me on the 5-minute. But I just saw it, you know, it came up here rejected on the 10. But what I was basically looking at, I was looking to see if we were going to get a rejection off. A lot of times what can happen is you get a rejection or eventually a push through that orb high, right? That's extremely common and a great way to look for your trade. So on the 5-minute, you know, this looked pretty good right here. I didn't catch this one. I don't know if I missed it or if I was just hesitating, probably hesitating. I saw this, thought about taking it and didn't take it. I was pretty annoyed because it gave you a nice scalp. But then it did this and had this huge rejection, right? That was the candle, this 5-minute candle was, you know, equal to the size of this. So I was like, this is going to go down a little bit more. And, you know, so I got in like right somewhere in here after this candle pushed up a little bit. And I was a little nervous about this trade, and for good reason. So, and honestly, you know, when you're in these things, you're like, God, it's this huge rejection. that's such a statement, right? Off of this orb high. But you know, right now I'm scalping a bit, you know, especially because that's so extreme, you know, it's a lot of volatility. So I was like, I'm just going to get it. If I can get 10 cents on this thing, I'm going to get in and out. So I got in like right here-ish, and it came down and ended up hitting a VWAP. And while it was flushing, I got out and got that 11 cents. And you know, and when you get out, for me anyways, I got it's the whole mental thing. You know, you're kind of annoyed, like, oh, you know, this thing's gonna, you know, I got freaking 11 cents. This thing's probably gonna dump and, you know, might come back down to at least this midpoint area, or like this lower orb area, and you know, that could be like, you know, a freaking dollar instead of 10 cents or whatever. But this is one of those ones where, you know, I got out, took my money, and then it just completely reversed pretty quickly. And that would have been so annoying to be in the profit like 11 to 15 cents. You don't take it, and I've been there, and then it does this, and it, you know, might ruin your damn day. So anyways, this is one of the times where I was so thankful I got out. And again, $10 doesn't sound like a lot, but on this account, that was like 6.5%. So I'm actually very proud that I got in and out. And I got in and out also for a fair reason. This is just so dramatic. I kind of almost regretted getting in this, and I was glad to get out for a profit. So after that, you know, I noticed that this is where I have struggle getting confident going long. It's some weird mental thing I have. I just have this short bias that I'm going to shake out eventually. But what looked really good here is that, you know, it tested that orb high, right? We could even look here. It tested it, and it tested it again, failed, came back up, and then closed above it here on the 5-minute. It looked good here, even closed above it here. And I thought, dude, take this thing, and I just didn't. And I knew it would likely, my inclination was it basing above this. There's just a good chance it would go up here. And the risk is so good. Like, just get in right here. And if this thing looks bad and closes below this, get the heck out. But I just didn't do it. So then, of course, I watch it go up here. And I miss this beautiful trade, right, where it rejects and wait for that kind of test again, reject. This would have been perfect right here, and get some there. So anyways, so I missed that. Another good looking one. Let me see if there's anything else that looked good on this guy. The only other thing, yeah. I mean, sometimes these, I was going to say, sometimes with these long-term fibs, they can be good and bad. You know, the thing is, they can really reject off these hard, or, you know, at some point they go through them. So you have to be careful. But you can see this daily fib here, how it did this reject, and then this double reject. This would have been really nice, but I didn't see this. It's also very end of day, man. You got to watch your butt end of day. That's just, end of day can get a little wild, you know, with volatility going one way or another. People closing positions. But anyhow, so that was the Q trade. Let's move on to the SPY trade. Okay, so SPY trade I took at, I'm on Eastern time, so 2:20. And wow, I was in this trade a long time, about 19 minutes. I got out at 2:39. 2:20 to 2:39. This one was a little bit better, guys. Whoa, 79 cents to 94 cents. So I got 15 cents. Oh my gosh. I mean, just killing it out here, guys. But this one was tough. And man, again, I'm not really happy about my trades, but let's go through this. Okay, here we are at SPY. So this guy, I feel pretty lucky that this trade worked out for me. Part luck, in part strategy. There's a reason I took this trade. And the reason is, this is on the same day, right, as the Qs, and so it's another run up, fall down, and it popped back up. And you know, if I would have caught any of this, I would have been like, oh, I'm done. But I just I decided that, you know, okay, this was such a nice drop, right? This really grinded up, and you know, you're thinking this is gonna be a bull day, and then you just miss this incredible short all the way down to the orb low. And so it's that, you know, that part's always depressing, you know, and also watching this thing come down, you're like, oh, should you enter? No, and you don't, you know, which is a good habit, right? In my opinion, not FOMO trading, because you never know if it was going to pop off of this ORB high. So, but what happened is it, you know, it popped up and really came down all the way down through the ORB high to the orb low. Had this strong reaction off there, which should have been maybe a telltale sign. I don't know. But, you know, what can happen is it can test that that orb high and reject, right? It came under it. Is it going to reject and fall again to maybe this midpoint or to the orb low again? But I knew, of course, I knew one option is that it messes around here and ultimately grinds through it. And it did do that. So what I saw here is it come up, and I saw this nice rejection candle. It kind of closed right below it. And I entered there. And, you know, on the 5 minute, you can see that's around right here. And I think I entered on this pop up, this green 5 minute candle somewhere right in here. So I got an okay entry, but the fact that it was already kind of that type of candle made me a little suspicious, right? That was a pretty bullish looking little candle. So I was like, please turn around right here. And I just said, you know, I just sat through it. And my idea was like, look, I want to see if this thing ultimately rejects back through this line. And it was starting to look good. And I was like, oh my God, this candle right here, this guy, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I saw this, I was like, I don't have my hopes up, but this is starting to look like it could. And then on this candle, it was a really nice flush, and I got out somewhere in here and I got that 15 cents. I was like, I'm just taking my money because I was down like 30 bucks or something. And, which is ridiculous, right? To risk, I risked like 25, 30 at one point and got like 15 cents. But if I hadn't gotten out, look what happened. This is what I feared that could happen, and it did. So again, 2 trades where I did just boom, get out and scalp, give me my money. I'll take it. You know, it's not a lot, but it's something. And that was the right call on both of these trades. So I know I can't always have that attitude, but at the end of the day, if I can enter more winning trades than losing trades, and even if you're scalping, I can get in and get out. But again, I'm just not proud. I'm just not proud of these trades. I've seen so many good trades, so many good setups where I just didn't end up taking them, and these are not my favorite. It's just this. I think I should have just, with this type of what basically what I was thinking about with this one, and I'm not exactly. I need to go back and look at more days, but. The fact that it really pushed up through it, right? And it did come back down. The fact that it's been up there, I think, is potentially just some concern that it'll want to actually go back through it. Now, if say it had, you know, come up here, tested, and or whatever, and we stay below the orb high, and you know we go down a much, then we come back up, and we kind of get really near that orb high, and it starts to show rejection. I think that's more valid than if it's been above the orb high during the day. Again, I'm not 100% on that, but that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, that wraps up the 2 trades. I mean, I think I made about 26 bucks commissions, $2, so I made 24 bucks on this small account. So it was like a 9, 10. No, it was I'd have to look again, but it was at least like 10%, 11% or something. On the account, which, dude, it's pretty good, right? On that one account. I mean, I think that's pretty good. And the other thing too is, since it's such a small amount, you know, and I'm only doing one contract, I can really only take like maximum 2 trades a day typically, because I'm trying to get in options that are like no more than $1, right? Because I'm like right now my account's like 190. So if a contract is like 95 bucks, I mean, I can maybe do 2 trades. So, but I'm trying to get in a little bit lower, like, you know, 50 to 60 cent options as well. So I could take 2 to 3 just to have that in my bag. Not that I necessarily want to, just to have it in my bag in case you lose one, need to make it up. But that's the other interesting thing about it is, right, you know, if you lose, say, 2 trades and you lose $30 in that day or whatever, like you have to be done. I just I can't take any more trades, right? Because I'm not doing margin or anything like that. So yeah, that wraps it up. In the future, I want to really keep driving home and showing the power of the orb strategy. It's just I'm so in love with it, and happy I discovered it. It's just something I want to. I mean, look at what happened here, for instance. This is just nuts. I mean, I literally saw it coming down here, and you know, you have thoughts to like, oh, what if this time I just literally, you know, on one of these days I'll just literally buy like right when it hits the orb. I'm not going to wait for a candle to react, and then this happens, and you're like, ah. Now, yeah, you know, I'm not that ballsy yet, and I'm not sure if I really should be because it's good to wait for confirmation. But let's just look back at another day real quick. I mean, look at this right here, guys. I mean, first of all, you know, we obviously reject here. You know, I don't know if you get in this or not. It's hard to know because the orb really hasn't been created there. Here, the orb is done after this candle, so you could say, oh, this looks good. But you know, it comes down and pops back up and rejects. Look, where does it reject? It rejects this second fib off the orb low, right? And just perfect, right? Like I said, these things tend to come to these second fibs if they go through. Comes through hard, comes back up, rejects it. This would have been perfect. I just didn't get this one. Then see how it's already under this orb low, and then it comes back up and just gets right near it, and then just massive drop. I mean, you're not going to get these all the time, right? And even if I would have got in this, I probably would have got out on this candle at this point because I'm only taking one contract, you know, and which maybe one day, if I need, when I build this up to 2 contracts, boom, I'm going to get out when you get a good flush, and then I'll just hold a contract and, you know, try and ride 5 or 10 minute candles. Maybe even do 10 if you can. But that's the idea. Anyways, I made this video a bit longer than I anticipated, but hopefully it helped you guys. And yeah, leave me some comments if you got any questions or want me to discuss anything, go over anything else. I'd be more than happy to. All right, folks. Peace.